Hello, hello, hello. Well, let me just get organized here, and we're going to begin to code on our Alias Nerd web app once again. Now we took a not we, I took a week off there and coded actually two other projects, one for the entire week, and then did a little 2-hour thing last night, coded up a little splash page. So that was fun. Last week was fun doing a lot of cool things, but let's get back into the open source stuff, the stuff that's on GitHub. We'll commit some more code today, spend about an hour working on authentication for we don't have much on the application yet, but we want to set a foundation for the authentication part. So we're going to spend about an hour on that today. So just give me a second. I'm just checking the stream here, making sure it's all good. Okay. So I committed the change. I still need to do a README on the, where are we here? I'll pull this over here. So this was stuff for the other day. I'll just get rid of this. Okay, so here is the GitHub page that you should be able to access. We have 6 commits. The most recent one was adding the Devise Gem and completing the initial setup for the users. I did that last week, but I didn't commit it to GitHub yet, so I just pushed it to GitHub now. The README I still have to write, which we'll do that another time. So let's dive into the code and just verify that we have everything that we need to get started for today. So jump in here. Okay. I debated today if I wanted to write tests or if I wanted to just fool around with just some straight coding. You know what? I don't know. I think I'm just going to write tests next and just fool around with authenticating some stuff today because we haven't been on this web app for a while, so might as well just have some fun with it. Let me think here what we want to look at first. So let's just go over to the actual application itself in the browser. So I'll open up here and we'll run Rails S. And I'm just going to pop open another one. So it's running Puma, but I'm going to run, I wonder if guard is available here. Yeah, it is. So that makes me wonder what tests we have. So we'll run the control P. It's going to just create the cache or the index for its searches. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we just have we'll do test model. So did we create a project one? Yes, we did. Interesting. Okay, so that's how we did that. Yes, these are very old. So what is failing here? Unique violation error, duplicate email already exists. Okay, so this is what is it that it's doing here? So it says the index users on email. Why is it creating a user? This would be the fixtures. So I'm not doing it in that particular test, but it would be the fixtures users. Okay, I see what it's doing there. So I'm pretty much just going to create one user, and to do that, I'm just going to copy one over from the, oops. So I'm going to copy one over from the commish website, which will be tests, fixtures, users, okay, and we'll just copy the subscribed user. I think I do use, no, I don't use slug. Okay, so this will just get pasted right there. For right now, that's all we're going to have. Done. So in theory, we can go back to guard. This was actually good to test this. So this should pass because we're just having no tests in there. We'll run all the project tests to make sure they pass again. So it looks like we are spending some time on tests today, which is good. Always want to be writing tests. I shouldn't be lazy. It's not. Shouldn't be lazy like that. So it's column name of relation users does not exist. Makes sense. So I can add it, which may be nice. So why don't we go ahead and add this in. So I'm going to go into this is adding all the stuff from commish too, which we don't want. Control C to abort. Abort. Okay, so I'm going to close that first and then go into here and then do this and no, not model. Gem file? Let's go right into the DB gem file. Or not gem file, migration file, sorry. So in the devise create, we are going to create ourselves a name field. So it looks like the null has to be there. Null is false, so it can't be null. And then default is an empty string, so at least it just works. Let's do another one too, a boolean. Let's see if I already have any booleans. It doesn't look like it. So I can go t dot boolean admin. Null is false and default is false. So people aren't admin by default. Let's see here. Do we want to add index for the users or the email, sorry, or no, email, for the name? Should they have unique names? No. One thing I hate, if you have unique names, then people can't change their names very easily. So I'd much rather them just have unique emails, which is important. And I'm not going to be indexing on the name. I'm not going to be searching for people based on the name. I'll search on them based on the ID or the email. Although slug might be... Yeah, I think I'm going to save that. I'm going to look up, I might want to do this right away. So I'm just going to do Ruby gems and then friendly ID, none. So I think it's a space like this. There we go. Okay, so we're going to, I think I'm going to copy this. Actually, is it already in my gem file? I don't know. Save that in the gem file. I think I already have it in here. Friendly ID is there, so it's already there. Perfect. Let's go over and implement it. So we'll go to the home page, and it says what changed. For right now, I don't care about that. Upgrading articles. Which one am I using? Friendly ID 5. Okay. For docs for older versions are also available. 5. Well, what version is this? Um, yeah, we are version 5. Okay. Rails quick start. So done. And we are 5.1. I just checked that, but I have a short-term memory. Rails generate friendly ID. So I need the slug string to be. So let's run this. So friendly ID just allows it so that your models can be found based on a nice like slug string, so that you can put that in the URL and you don't have to have these weird model IDs. So it looks like I need a brand new terminal bash screen here, and we will paste in Rails generate friendly ID. And let's see what this I think this is just an initializer file. Yeah, created that, and it created the friendly ID slug. So it's something in the database that keeps track of a slug to an ID relationship. So let's go back and go to the next step for implementing this. We did that. We need to add a slug, a string, and it needs to be unique. So just out of curiosity, I'd like to close that and go into here and say, I should have just kept it open. No, not this. I want to go into Comish again. What is it? DB. Migrate. Is there anything? No, that could be trouble. I'll go into schema. And slug is just a string and it's null, but I do add unique true. So it should go down all the way to the user. Okay, here, user slug. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this over, and then we will go to the model. No, where should I do this? Okay, so we're looking at the. I already have it there. Okay, so I need the add index users slug unique is true, and then up here we'll put in a t.string slug null false. Beautiful. Whoops. So save that. If I go back over here and refresh this, there's the create friendlies. You can see that it did this. Beautiful. Let's go. I think I just db rake migrate after this. So I do db rake migrate. So let's close that off. Guard can stay. We'll just exit out here just because we're going to be migrating. So rake db mig. We'll go drop db create db migrate. Because I'm changing a previous model, the user one, so I might as well just like create it right from scratch. This has not been uploaded to production or anything, so I'm fine with doing this. This is very, very early stage, like I've said in previous videos, so we can just wipe it all the way back just to make sure we got everything clean the way we want it. Nice. So that worked. Let's head back to the fixtures user. And the fixtures user is going to have a slug now. That must be there, so we're going to do subscribed for the slug. So now as a name, email, and slug, we'll save that. And hopefully this will just work because we have those parameters available in the model now. And guard is not even running, so we will run it here. There's guard. And then that's going to launch up. This one we will start on the Rails server. Our code and guard runs all tests. We'll just wait for this. Actually, another thing I want to do is we'll go over here and go back into the website we worked on last week, the commish, and I'm going to go into the gem file. Whoa, errors. What's the errors? Note route matches controller projects. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. We'll fix that in a second. I just want to go through and do something for the tests. Better errors, binding of color, guard mini test, fpser. So I'm going to use all of that stuff, so I'm just going to yank all that. Let's check up top here. Okay. What the heck? Okay, I'm going to go into the gem file here and add those in. This is just going to make the testing look better. So you see we have, yeah, perfect. So I'm just going to paste. So we have all of that. Sweet. This is going to make the test look better too, which I really enjoyed with the last app I was working on. So let's go back into, not that, let's go back into here. We have those errors, but we'll exit out of here. And we will Control C out of there. And we'll bundle install. And then we're just going to get all these errors working again, what we need to do is finish off this install. So we need to in our, oh, we need to add the slug to the projects too. Okay, let's do that. So all the gems installed. So we'll do the models project. No, we need to do the, whoops. Create projects. So this will be t.slug or t.string. It's going to be a slug, and it's going to be null false. And then here we're going to do add index. This is going to be to the projects, and it's going to be on slug, and that is going to be unique true. And that's saved, so we can go back here and do, did I do that rake db thing? No. Rake db drop db create. I think there is a shortcut for this, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's not that much to type. So now that we have an annotate, it's going to annotate all that stuff for us, which I'm on the fence about if I like that or not. Sometimes I do. So we can do guard, and it's actually going to, we'll notice a significant change in how it runs the test, hopefully. Nope. I do need to do one other thing for it to do that. Actually, I like that a little bit less, actually. So 12 errors. Just read what they are. Yeah, didn't like the slug thing there. So Rails S and back into here. So we're going to go into the fixtures and projects this time, because we need a slug in here of my first project. My first project. Second project. Perfect, so that's done, so that helps. We do need to go into the models for both the user and the project and add in the fact that we're using slug, sluggable thing. So we need to do this, copy, and whoops, that's not what I want. We'll paste that in there. So it's going to extend the friendly ID. Friendly ID is using the name, and it's going to be slugged. I think that's what we're doing. Because of that, I think the name does have to be I think the name does have to be unique because of that. So we'll save that, and we'll go into, we'll just do the projects one first. And whoops, undo. And this does the name as well, which is good. Save that. And I'm going to go into the Devise again. So I do think that, okay, good, null, it's false, default. Do I make it unique? I should. I should really make this unique. I know I said I wasn't going to, but it makes the slug thing much easier because the slug has to be unique. So the slug is generated from the name. So if the name doesn't have to be unique and then it fails in the slug, it would be really confusing for people. So I'm just going to do that, save that, and then go into the model for the users. And we're just going to copy over the name presence. So let's copy this over to here. And I'm also going to make this, because of the slug, I'm going to make this uniqueness. Uniqueness is true. Save that. So then I'm going to go into the tests model user test. And this one will be the test model project. I think we can do this. I'm just going to okay, so the user can be created. Oops. So we're going to create a user with the name of Joe, and it doesn't have a description. It has an email of joe@test.com, and it doesn't have this. It has a password. Whoops. Password of that, and then we'll delete all this. So I actually like the way that I do it, do my tests in the other application where I have a setup and I have a params setup, and then I just swap out things, but for now this is fine. So we're going to assert here that the user is valid, and we're going to assert here that the user is not valid. Okay, so here the user not being valid, we're going to test if the name is missing. So I'm just going to exclude this, so it shouldn't be valid. And then, whoops. And then I'm going to do another one here because the presence of the email is required as well. Okay, and this is just going to be Joe. All right, let's just run that real quick. And this will just be testing those presence things, the validation of the presence. So that passes. And this, let's just see here. Passes. Okay. So I'm going to do a bit of research here. We'll close this one and we'll open up our gem file. And okay, so we got Capybara, which is good for our feature tests and things like that. Launchy, mini test reports. Simple COV, that's awesome. Okay, mini test colorize. Just wondering because I wonder where I specify config development. I'm going to quit this, and I'm going to go into Vim there and just check out where I did the setting for this because I really want it to look the same. So did not do it in the guard file. I doubt that. No. So I'm thinking maybe test helper or config. Test helper. I'm just going to copy this whole test helper over to the okay, so we copied that all over. That's good. But I think there is, oops. I think there's something in the config. Oh, there, see, now it's working. That's what I'm looking for. That's what it should look like. Let's see in here though. Raise error, digest, mail erase, active support, migration error, cache. What about in test? Config log level. I did add this, so I'll just add it to the what's that under? Config environments and then test at the very bottom. Add it right there. Okay, so I'm going to quit this one, go back over to Alias Nerd. Oh my gosh. Go into Vim. And let's check out these errors here. So test project is valid if web link is missing. So it needs slug name in all those fixtures is what it's saying. Okay, so we are going to go into the models. No wait, fixtures. Fixtures and project. I did slug. Select where project ID is. Okay. Friendly ID name use slugged. Let's see what else is to do on this tutorial. We're sort of going a little bit back and forth here, but okay. So it does that. Change user.find to user-friendly.find. That could be important. And I think that's one of the last steps. So maybe that's what's screwing us up here. So this is in the controllers. Okay, so it's going to switch this over to project.friendly. I believe that's what it says to do. Friendly.find params ID. I wonder if that will work. Apparently not. No route matches show projects. My first project. Oh yeah, because so in the test we got rid of the show, didn't we? So let's just go over to controller / projects controller test and should show project. I don't have, yeah, I got rid of the show, so I'm going to delete that, save it. This should create full passing test there. My issue is going to be the friendly ID with the with Devise users, because how does Devise know to use it? Okay, so that passes. So that's passing. We have Rails up and running. So let's just dive in and see what kind of errors we get with this. Start up the application. Okay. So we have a sign up. We have test 544. Now we don't have the name field here, which is going to cause an error. So let's just try this out. One error, name can't be blank. See? Okay, so we should add that in. So we're going to go back into here and we're going to do views, devise, register new. This is probably going to call on a, no, it's not register, devise, shared. Links. Is it actually all in register new? Register new. I would think, no, it isn't here. Okay, so I'm going to do, I think I have bootstrap form 4, so I can get rid of this, whoops, this. I'll leave that in there. Get rid of that, this, and this. I think all this can be shoved over. Okay, and then I'm just going to copy this up here. So this is a text field, and this is for name. And we'll autofocus on name, so I don't need to autofocus on email anymore. Good. And then the edit one will also need that exact same change. That's an easy change, so I'll just jump on over to the views, devise, registration, edit. And let's add the same styling simply by doing bootstrap form 4 because we have the gem installed, so I can get rid of that. And because of that, the gem automatically does all of the labels and the divs around. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'll leave that there. What does it say? I'll clean that up in a bit, but for now we'll just keep this field label dune. We'll get rid of this. I'm going to move that little blurb somewhere else later on, but for now we don't need to. Done. And then we need to add the name. Oh, that's not how you do that. This is name. This will no longer be autofocus. Whoops. Okay, save that, and let's go back and check this out. This will still not work because we need to, I'll just resend blah, 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 blah. So we need to have it accept a name thing in the controller. See, now we have the name right here and our form looks better, but it's saying it can't be blank. So that's true, but it also isn't going to accept it. Let's just say like Billy Franks, and we'll just do this. It's still not going to work because we need to tell the controller to accept that name field. It's going to be like, hey, I'm not expecting a name. I'm not going to accept it. So it throws it away. So what we need to do is go into here and go into the application controller, because we don't want to override the Devise controllers, but there is a little way we can hook into them pretty quick. So we can do application controller, and if I go over to here, I think I have Devise. Let's see what Devise says. Here. So in the application controller, we can say, if it's a Devise controller, we want to configure the parameters. So did it say to put it above or below? Doesn't say. I'm just going to copy this as is. That's for nested stuff. Doesn't say. Okay, so I'm going to put it below here. Let's send that over, and we always get this extra end, which is weird. But okay, so we're gonna, before action, if it's a Devise controller, we're going to sanitize these. So we're going to permit name. Let's just read this really quick 1 second, because okay. Sign in, so you're going to do it for sign in, sign up. So we're not going to sign in with a name, we're going to sign up with a name. Just say in here, do user. That's for multiple keys. Now it looks like I got to do one for account update as well. Okay, so I'm going to copy this down, and then over here, looks like I can just do change word and then paste in account update. We're going to do name there as well. So now this should work. We're in the Firefox here. Okay, so now we'll put in something like blow me, and then we'll say password, sign up. This comes straight from the Devise thing. That is quite weird. Okay, so let's just double check I didn't. Oh, that is weird. So I'm going to go into here. This does it a completely different way. Configure permitted parameters, configure permitted parameters. That's weird why this does it a completely different way. And the documentation was wrong for at least this version of Rails, I guess. Very, very weird. Okay, so I have that. See the difference there? One's saying permit and one's saying for. Update, sign up and update. Okay. Weird. I'm just going to check this. Rails 4 move the parameters into the controller, which I'm using Rails 4. That is really odd. Anyways, I got this to work. So go back over here and we will try this again. Password and password. And there we go. So we have welcome, you have signed up successfully. That we haven't made anything. Edit account. Oh, I do have it, so I can do all that. The name is in there. Perfect. Alrighty. And everything working. All of our tests are passing. Everything is good. Why is this not clicking over? So you can see I like these tests better, where it runs the test, tells you how many tests it ran. There's little color scales to see how it's going for the progress. It says the time. It's a nice, neat way of doing it. User edit, but I want to go to, maybe I didn't set that up. Okay, so the whole point of doing the users is that, I'll just test the logout real quick. Okay, so if I'm logged out, so I signed out successfully. So one of the whole things of the reason why we're doing this is you could do users for a few reasons. One is to collect information about the people that are using your application. The second is for authentication, meaning you're only going to allow certain people to do certain things. So one of the things I want to do is have them say, only see a certain page if they're logged in, which I don't really have. I want this page to be public, so I'm not really there yet. But for now, let's just say you can't see the new project link, which allows you to create a new project. This will eventually only be for admins, but let's just show you what we can do with the users to get that to hide. So this is an index. So let's go back into here. And what we're going to do is go into the projects controller. And at the very top of this file, we're going to say, even before that, we'll say, whoops, undo that. We're going to say, let's see here, before action, so before we do anything, let's authenticate user, and we're going to have that be for only, no, we'll say except, because it's going to be for everything except the show. For now, we may add more to that, but so we want to authenticate for the user for everything to do with projects, except for showing the, no, not show, because we don't have a show. What am I talking about? Index, right? So everything else you need to authenticate. I'm just going to save that. I'm going to double check because sometimes my memory is not good. And we are going to double check the authenticate user. Good. And that's it. So if we go here, I'm going to show you what happens. Ooh, we got an error. Let's just double check what that error is. Yep. Well, turns out we can't create projects there because we don't have a user logged in, so we'll fix that in a bit. So I'm just going to show you the effect, what that did. So as you can see, it made all our tests pretty much fail because it's like, hey, I can't do anything anymore. I'm not a logged in user. But see, I'm not logged in. If I hit new project, it'll say you need to sign in or sign up before continuing, and it'll require me to do this, right, to log in. It probably isn't the best idea to have the new project link visible if they can't use it, right? So sometimes you do see that where, like, if you click on something, it'll take you to that login page. Like, wait a minute, before you do that, log in. But in this case, I don't think it's a very good user experience. So what we can do is then go into the views, projects, and the index, because that's the one that everyone can see. And we'll have the new project link down there. Now, instead of having that show up, what we can do is add to this and say if user signed in ? And Devise has this built-in method for us, user signed in, and that's going to return like a Boolean, true or false. So if they're signed in, it's true. If it's false, if they're signed out, it's false. So that's going to allow us to check to say we can have this link shown and put it on the page for them to click on if they're signed in. So save that, and we'll go back here and we'll update this. And this thing will disappear once this finishes loading. See, now they can't click on it anywhere. Makes sense. They're on a page that they're allowed to see, the project's index page. They're allowed to go there. But if we want to have something, I believe it was, oh, I don't remember what test we did. Test, wait. 544, I think it was. Should have made that more an easier one to remember. Okay, so we're in. So now we can successfully create a new project. So if I go back to here, you can see we're here, but this link is now there because we're signed in. So if I go new project, and I can access this page now because I am authorized to in the controller. So the Authenticate User was called before action, and it said, yep, they are a user. So now I can access this page and access all the other actions on that controller, including create, update, and all that kind of stuff. So let's just create one to see if this is still working. We still have to do this authentication for the HTTP thing, but we can do it some other time. And save that. Error. Projects, test projects. So this has to do with the friendly ID, so let's just make sure we fix this. So this is saying, if you go down here, you'll see projects, and then it says ID. It's saying, okay, that's fine, but what the heck is this test project slug? We don't know what it is. So let's see if we can find out that issue. So that would be in the projects controller. And towards the bottom of this, we do have friendly finding it there. What is the issue with this? Let's see if it says anything in here. So we're doing that. So we did that already. That's in the model, right? Friendly ID, name, use, slugged. We did that. Did I update the... I may not have done the migrations. Let's just do that quick, see what happens. Because technically everything should be working. So I can do Rails S again. I'm gonna have to create that user again, but that's okay. Because I shouldn't have to change anything to do with the routes. The routes should just work. Like the ID and the slug are pretty much the same. Okay, sign up. Test at test. So we'll do that test at test. Okay, that's good. If I go to edit user, users edit, this works. So the thing I have not tried is the slug yet, which we're going to find out pretty quick here if this is working yet. No, that wasn't the issue. Shit, I did all that for nothing. The issue is we don't have a show page, and this shouldn't be going to the show page. Ah, that's the issue. So we need the projects controller, and under create, see how it says redirect to project? So we want this to be redirect to projects path. And at project.error. I think that one still works. This update again, we have no project. So path. I'm going to get rid of these JSON ones because we're not using that right now. If I do end up using it in the future, I will add it. But for now, it's fine. Perfect. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense why that wasn't working. There we go. Now I can go save project. Oh, there we go. It created this twice, which I don't know why it would do that. Very odd. I have no way of destroying this either. That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to add that destroy feature now because we're going to want it. So we want views, project, edit. And at the very bottom of this, whoops. At the very bottom of this, we are going to create boom, boom, a link to delete project. And this is going to be to projects, project, at project. And the method will be delete. And the class will be button, button danger, button small. No, that's not supposed to be equal sign. Okay, and then we have there's typically a warning thing. Oh. What? It says, are you sure? But what is the, how do you access it? Data. There we go. Okay. So this should allow us to delete one of these ones that it created, which is weird why it even created it. Okay, so we just have the one. So we're back to having our project show up. We have users, and we can only create one if you're a user, which is great. Now the issue is this edit. This show doesn't need to be there, so let's edit that. And well, I'll first explain, then we'll edit it. So the show isn't going to be there in the future, but this edit should only be there if this if the person looking here is a user that can edit this. So I'm going to log out and show you the issue. Just like before, how we had that link there that we didn't want people to click on, now we still have this edit. So we can click on that. It's going to say, wait a minute, you have to be logged in to do this. There we go. You need to log in before you can do that. So we don't want that. So let's get rid of those buttons there. In the, what would this be in? Projects index. So you can see this one here is going to be, oh, come on now. That's the show one. We don't have a show page anymore, so we're getting rid of that. What I'm going to do is delete the link from there and put it in the middle, because I'm going to change these columns to be 4. So 4, 4, 4, that equals 12. Remember, in Bootstrap and in our grid layout, everything is 12 across the row. So all your little columns have to be adding up to 12. So we have 4, 4, 4. This one's not going to be visible if the user is not signed in. So what's going to happen is this website button and this GitHub button are going to be visible on the left and right sides of the block, and then this one is only going to be visible in the middle if it is a user, which just keeps it looking nice and functional at the same time. User signed in, question mark. Beautiful. So now we can go back and you can see that these will change and then the edit will not be there. So we'll have a website in GitHub. Let's go ahead and change this slightly to make it look just a little bit better. Again, I might change all of this, but the website, I'm going to change that from small to block. And then copy all of this, yank that down to the GitHub one. And this edit will just be a link, a normal link in the middle. I think that'll look good. So this will be spanning across the whole bottom. Well, 1/3 there and then 1/3 here. So I think that should look okay. Yep, website GitHub, that's fine. Obviously I'm going to jazz these two bits of text up a little bit to make them look better. But we have no edit link, so let's sign in and get ourselves an edit link. Test, where's just normal test in here? There it is. And password, login. Editing project. Why does it keep going straight over to editing project? Weird, I'll have to look into that sometime. And this link is really bugging me. I'm going to use that quite a bit. So layouts application. Oh, frick. Shared nav bar. Let's get rid of all of this. Insert. This is a link to the link is going to be to the root path, and the class will be this navbar class. Get rid of all of this, and all of this is now gone. Save that. Okay, so now we're having that go over to the root path finally. See, all these little cleanup things you got to do takes up time. You could make a list of them and then do them later on. So I clicked on it, it sent me back here. Now this edit shows up here, so I can edit this. Wonder if I have it set up so it remembers the last page you were on, and that's why when you log in it goes back to it. I can't figure out, let's see if it does it again. No, I think it remembers the last page that you were on. So I can take a look at that later. But we're logged in, so we can create new projects and edit old ones. The only other thing is this, is the flash messages here. And so I'm going to just copy paste over a basic one that everyone uses. I have it on this website. So app, views, layout. So it's this really short piece of code, but it does a great job. So in here, so I'm going to get rid of this. This is what Devise says to put out there, this notice and alert. So, but I'm just going to delete that. And in here, what it does is it says if there's any flash messages, separate out the name and the message, and then put a content tag of a div in with content within the div of the message, and the class being a class style, which is a bootstrap style of alert, plus whatever name for the flashes. So there's like warning, there's I don't know, I can't remember them all, but like alert and warning and success. There's different ones I can't remember, but it puts it in there, and the styles I think matches up. It may not. I did do a CSS conversion thing in here where I did let's see, app, assets, style sheets, application style sheet. I did in here a conversion. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here, alert error. So some of the terms were different, like error and danger, then notice to info, and then alert to warning. So I did that little quick symbolic link, I guess you could say, from one to the other. So I'm just going to add that into this. So app, all right, we're going to do style sheets, application, CSS. And in here, I can add that. Whoops, that's not what I want. From in here, I can add that there. There we go. So I can close out of this. And saving this then should, wait, this flash message will go away when I do that, but we'll sign out or something and get a new flash message. This is good. So we've got friendly ID working today. We've got, we fixed up some of the forms in the Devise stuff for the users to add the name field. We worked on some of the tests that are required for users, and we've got this checking if it is a user before, like authenticating the views and authenticating some of these links. So let's just log out, and we've also done the flash messages, which hopefully will hopefully that'll work. So there we go. See, signed out successful. It does it in here. I may stick this inside the container more, so it's confined, but this is more of a styling thing, the actual UI of everything, which we'll figure out later. I'm just trying to get some of the functionality working. So there we go. So this is all looking very good. What was I just going to do? Run the test, I think. So we'll run guard and see where we're at with the tests. It's going to run them all right now. Oh, I remember what the test required me to log in, so I should probably do that in the projects test. So one thing I did in earlier in this video, which sort of probably got passed over pretty easily, is that sorry, just one second. The update missing required keys ID. Okay, I'll fix that later. So one thing I did was what was it? The test helper. So the test helper. So inside the test helper, I've at the very bottom, I think it is. Yeah, right here, action controller test case. I've included Devise's test helpers. And what that'll do is if I go to the Devise thing, if I go down to the bottom, I think it is. This is views, controllers, routes, test helper. So in here, I include this Devise test helper. And what that's going to allow me to do is use this nice little method here saying sign in and then some sort of a user. So let's go ahead and utilize that in our projects test. Test fixtures, models, projects test. So in here, we want to do a def setup, and the setup will have a user which equals users. Actually, no, it's not that way. It's users subscribe. That's the user fixture that I created. And then I can simply do sign in. I'm going to make this an at variable. Okay. So I created a user and then I signed that user in using this sign in, which is a Devise thing. And now that they're signed in, I won't have any issue with creating all of this stuff. Hopefully, anyways, that's the idea. So let's go through and see how this is running. Running the projects test. And that's where I can see a lot of the stuff failing. So it's going to fix that issue and then, oh, it's still failing. So let's see you here. No method error, sign in. Maybe that isn't the issue. What was the issue before? Because that would be a controller's issue because I'm doing it in the controllers, but destroy didn't work. Expected response to be successful was 302. So pretty much this is, I don't have anything in buffer. Oh, there. Yeah, the action controller. Damn it. Yeah, the model should be able to create. So that shouldn't have been doing it. So it's something else is going wrong here. Okay, so I don't need. Oh. So in the model does not require to be logged in. So let's see here, web link. Is my the fixtures is what I'm thinking. Fixtures project. My first project, my second project. Oh yeah, I'm in the totally wrong. Jeez. I'm sorry. I'm rushing through this. So I'm supposed to be in the projects controller. I knew that all along. I just don't know why. And that's where I put this in. So in setup, we'll create a at user, make them equal to users subscribed. Duh, I should have just read that, the test errors. In fact, let's just verify. See, project controller test is what's failing. Jesus. Okay, so in here, we will do sign in at user. And now we'll test that. So the mini test just passed 5. Let's see where it passed them. It ran the models. Yeah, obviously. Obviously the models is working. Nothing to do with signing in or the user. So we're running the controllers one now, which this is the one where we're hoping it's going to pass. We're running 6 tests. It's done 1. It failed 2 of them. Okay, so test should update project. So it expected it to be going to the show page, but we don't have a show page anymore. So easy fix. So in the test, we have the index, we have that, we have the create. So it expected to go to the project path. So instead, we're going to the project's path, the index now. Get rid of all of that. Now with the update, it's the same thing. So we're going to the project's path, and that is the index. So it's listing all of them. And save that. Now the destroy project's path. Good, 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 good. Yep. So those are two errors that should have happened because we did change the functionality of how those work. Typically, in a scaffolded app, you would edit something, it would go back to the show page, or you'd create something, it would go to the show page. Our particular application is not functioning that way, so we had to update those pre-built tests. And now we have everything passing. I'm just going to hit enter and run all the tests just to make sure everything is working in our new user tests, our project tests, and the project controller, project model that is, and everything should be good. We covered quite a bit today, even though it doesn't seem like the app got much bigger. It's pretty much stayed the same, but we did cover a lot of little things that we need before we start moving forward. So it ran 14 tests, 20 assertions, 0 failures, 0 errors, and 0 skipped tests. So we're good to go very early on. I'm not too sure. I can start working on prettying things up, but one of the things I want to do next is work on the pages for the YouTube videos, because the whole point of this application is a spot where people can go and watch instructional videos on Ruby on Rails, which I'm going to create. So before I can create the instructional videos, I wanted to have this website pretty much up that I can post the videos to. So I'm going to start on that next. The projects thing is very, very close to being done. It's a matter of just making it prettier. All the functionality is there essentially. It's just going to be blocks of different projects we worked on that you can click on that project to go see the GitHub page and things like that, or click on this button to go to the actual web application online. So that all that functionality is really there. I'm going to write some tests for it, but other than that, it's done. So the next thing we're going to work on is the pages for the screencasts. That's the next big thing. And that one, again, is another easy part of the website, but something that is required before I upload it. So that's what we're going to work on next time. This time we did quite a bit. Hopefully you enjoyed watching, and we will see you later.